Okay, so we've had another patch on the PTR. Yet again, they've changed our set bonus. Again, it's an improvement. This time, it's a big improvement. They've removed the exorcism component. No longer will we have to prioritize exorcism, which is great. I did say they wouldn't change the nature of the set bonus. It surprised me how big a change this was. But it's actually not that big a change to the nature of the set bonus. It's still all about giving us more Avenging Wraths, and that, of course, feeds off our 4 set as well. Technically, this could give us fewer Avenging Wraths in the fight, because what it's changed to now is we get a second charge of Avenging Wrath. So we don't have to necessarily use one after the other. It doesn't necessarily mean that we'll have 50% uptime on Avenging Wrath if we took Sanctified Wrath, for example. The 4 set is also buffed a little, the actual amount of damage we get each second. It still lasts 10 seconds, still ramps up, but we get a bit more damage now, 5% extra damage each time, stacking up. We can now use Avenging Wrath more usefully. Now, whenever there's a set bonus which affects Avenging Wrath, you have to look at the level 75 talents. Divine Purpose, the talent of choice for Blackrock Foundry, has no interactivity with Avenging Wrath, so that's not an issue. Sanctified Wrath buffs are Avenging Wrath, so it becomes even more powerful with both the 2 set and the 4 set bonuses as they currently stand. Holy Avenger doesn't directly affect Avenging Wrath, but sharing the same cooldown inevitably means you're going to use them both together. Now, when our set bonuses don't monkey about with our talents, we generally say that you'd use Sanctified Wrath for single target DPS, Holy Avenger when you need burst AoE, due to the quick succession of Divine Storms that you can generate, and Divine Purpose for more sustained AoE. Now in High Maul, before we had our tier bonuses, you would do as much DPS as possible during Avenging Wrath, because that's where all your DPS was. In that period of time, between uses of Avenging Wrath, it really just felt like you were going through the motions. You were doing boggle damage. You would literally see your damage race ahead in the first 20 seconds of a fight, drop down to the bottom, and then climb back up again when Avenging Wrath became available. Now imagine that your Avenging Wrath became even more powerful. Well, the relative damage you will do during that cooldown compared to in between will be even greater, especially if you manage to time your execution sentence just right to get the benefit from the last tick of that 4 set. Basically what it means is we're probably going to be taking Sanctified Wrath as default in most situations. Holy Avenger works very well with the 2 set. It's not going to line up with your extra charge, but Sanctified Wrath will always work because it's a passive effect on Avenging Wrath. Doesn't mean to say that a Holy Avenger won't get a use. We'll just have to see how it plays out when we actually test these set bonuses. Now, onto the level 100 talents. These are the big ones for me because they are the real game-changing talents. In all the other tiers of talents, personally, I don't really mind which I use. I use whichever is best. But the level 100 ones really do polarize opinion. Some people really like one particular talent and despise the other 2. Some are okay with 2 and hate another one. There's not many people are okay with all 3. Now, Empowered Seals is back out the window. Hooray! Because we don't now need all that haste. Seraphim could look like being the favourite at this point. The pulls might be interesting because you'd literally want to have Seraphim popping at the same time as Avenging Wrath to take advantage of that 4 set. Well, that means having 5 Holy Power before we use Avenging Wrath. Well, no problem, generally, except on the pull. Whether it'll be best to wait for 5 Holy Power or just care less on the pull remains to be seen. Of course, on some fights we may find that Final Verdict still has a role to play, especially in AoE situations such as Hellfire Assault. All in all though, the set bonuses are looking much more useful. We don't know where our overall damage will be, but at least we can adopt a playstyle that makes a certain amount of sense. Well, possibly apart from on the pull, and when switching targets with that bloody Archimon trinket. However, for now, it's a big improvement, and I think a cause for cautious optimism.